Okay, so this is going to be the first audio video cast that I'm going to do on this channel. And basically, I need to break it down and, explain where I'm coming from, why I'm even doing this, So this is going to serve as this introduction video. So this all started really kind of as a joke, or as what I would call a joke. And, people are talking about certain other reviewers and so on. And I got in my head, maybe I should do it. And this is the sort of thing that spurred it on. I've done a bit of, I think the real sort of, back end is like we had the podcast, the Chaincast, over a year ago. The Chaincast was just a one-off thing. We were thinking we could turn it into a more regular thing, but people are busy, and that doesn't always work out. So, and then there was the other idea that we had on our headphones, the subreddit. A few of the moderators and power users got together and thought, hey, let's do an Our Headphones podcast. And a lot of hubbaloo was made of that. But ultimately, that never came to anything. So now this is where I am, and this is where I'm thinking, okay, so, I think this would be a fun thing to do, and I think people would find it informative. So I'm going to take it on myself to make my own channel, and from there, I think we can explore a lot of the ideas in terms of the podcasting and inviting people on and doing a lot of stuff. So guys like, Keenix, Lachlan, Metal 571, I expect all these guys to be guests on the podcast at one point or another. By podcast or until I actually figure out what I'm going to call this channel, I'm just going to go with whatever. But yeah, so that's why this channel's been existing right now. I think there is a need for a real community-driven podcast. And I think this channel, or my channel, can be a substitution for that, since it's hard to get people together all in on one idea. I want to try to be the center of it, and then delegate and see what resources I can draw from the community to make it a more than I want it to be more than me preaching, basically. It's my channel, but I want it to be a community thing. So that's where that's coming from. Also, making this channel because I figure I've started doing a lot of things different these days. I'm on a different diet. I'm on a different sort of lifestyle routine, and I've also been writing in a journal. I've never kept a diary or a journal, but I figure it'd be a pretty cool thing to make an audio journal, and then why not just dissipate it everywhere? Put it on YouTube and share what I find. So any of my audio adventures can be chronicled here. So maybe in 30, 40 years, I'll have a video audio chronicle of what I was doing back then, what I was listening to, what I was discovering in the audio world. So that's another reason, a very personal reason of mine, that I want to do this and see where it takes me. Because I'm wondering, I've also reached sort of the point where, not to sound arrogant, but although I'm sure I'll sound arrogant at many times, people already say I'm the biggest dick on the subreddit, but I'm the biggest dick who gets away with it because I abuse my moderator privileges, evidently. Right, so I'm reached the point where I've kind of heard just about everything. I don't really, in terms of when I see all these new stuff coming out, people are like, oh, I wonder what this sounds like, blah 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 blah. A lot of people don't have the luxury. I live in Southern California, which is, I think Northern California actually was like the headphone epicenter that existed 10 years ago, right? There's a lot of guys in Northern California, specifically the Bay Area, that were the original, founders of the hobby. A lot of those guys have kind of checked out, ever since Head-Fi became what it is now. They've sort of checked out. But, nonetheless, Southern California, huge. We have the Can Jam stuff. We have meets 2-3 times a year. A lot of other opportunities, a lot of other people that you can, people in this audio community are generous. People dig audiophiles a lot, but audiophiles are some of the most generous and, caring sort of people, I've met they because it's not just good enough for them. Because being an audiophile is not just about listening to music; it's about sharing the love and sharing the new gear, and it's all about sharing that experience. So audiophiles love when you listen to their system. They want that. I'm not sure how other hobbies work, but audiophiles are totally like that. So in this community, we have a lot of chances. I've had a lot of chances to hear a lot of really good stuff, and I've heard just about everything. So I'd like to sort of take that knowledge and sort of maybe arrogantly dissipate it so that everyone can learn from me, and I can be the guru, an audio guru. Everyone hates audio gurus though. So that's another reason for making this channel. I also think the last point for making this channel, I do think there is an untapped. I don't want to say market, because market implies I'm trying to sell you something, right? But there is an untapped there is a gap in the audio review and audio criticism world where I think you have a lot of people. This is the criticism that's levied at HeadFi all the time. Everyone's always positive. Everything is awesome. Blah 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 blah. It's just a bunch of every review, every product you see on the HeadFi review page is all like 4 to 5 stars. It's a running joke at this point, but it's a real problem. And even most, you can go back to look at this, these normal hi-fi rags, Stereophile, Absolute Sound, etc. And then you can levy the same criticism against them. They're overly positive, and they're not really telling you what's going on. They're in league with the evil manufacturer trying to sell you shit, right? So I think that is not what I want to be, and I think people don't even read audio reviews. People don't listen to audio reviews by and large. Or if they do, they're just like, they're freaking reading them to laugh at them. You're talking about the sound stages. Oh yeah, bullshit. Everything sounds the same. But I think a lot of people don't find much use in your average audio review. So I think I can try to maybe level that playing field, and I like to imagine at least that my reviews are a bit more grounded, down to earth, and I can touch on the exact points that I'm hearing, so people can because reading the review is all about extracting information. You want to put the information out there, and you want it to be easily extracted. When audio reviews write like a bunch of words, and you have to kind of dissect. Okay, he said this. He said, "Oh, the soundstage is so wide and so detailed." Like, does that mean it's kind of like funky? Soundstage is funky and like out of place, and it's kind of bright. Is that what detailed means? Like, there's no good way to really parse all that information that you see in a lot of audio reviews. It's so a lot of them true meaning, if it is there, if they're not just a total shill. Although I hate that word. I hate just calling people shills, but if they're not totally like that, you don't want to have to parse that meaning. So I want to make so that my reviews are intelligible by the everyman, so to speak. Okay, so that's another reason I'm making this channel. Okay, so what I'm expecting. Let me look. So what can you expect from this channel? As I said, I'm planning on delivering you unbiased commentary. I do not unbiased, down to earth commentary. Critical reviews, and anything that I ever review will be, I think, critically, fleshed out, and I'll try to explain to you what's great about it, what sucks about it, and everything in between, right? And I think that my critical, and I feel things, and a lot of these manufacturers, they just can't write a negative review because they won't get a review sample again, or they'll get blacklisted, or because that's not what manufacturers want. They want positive reviews. No, it's not too complicated. So I'm not in league with any manufacturers. I plan on delivering you unbiased content, and if that ever changes, then this channel won't exist. Critical reviews. I plan to have audio discussions. I want to bring different people on. Like I was saying, I want to have discussions, not just about specific gear, right? There will be that. There will be, okay, we're going to talk about the Philips X2. We're going to talk about the HD800. We're going to talk about all that, right? but I want there to also be, let's talk about like diminishing returns. Like I have a bunch of topics. So I'm so glad that the community's been giving me all these topics, because there's a lot of ideas like diminishing returns, or what is balanced audio? What does a balance do for you, if anything, and so on, right? So I plan on having discussions and bringing in people like that. So not just this isn't just an equipment review channel. This is a all-encompassing, sort of what Tile does almost. Tile reviews gear, but he also talks about audio issues at large, and so almost in a blog format, right? So you can expect that from this channel, and you can expect a certain I would say a certain irreverence for all things. I don't consider myself a traditional audiophile, although that's a sort of a dumb thing to say. But I will use hyperbole and comedy to the best of my abilities, and I will not pull any punches, and we can have some fun. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to top on, different sort of content, kind of touched on that, audio news and commentary, equipment reviews. I want to have like some running segments, like I was talking about. I'm talking about like audio philosophy. Like probably my very next video is probably going to be about audio philosophy and what my audio philosophy is, so people can sort of see where I'm coming from. I want to do a technical breakdown series where explain certain technical aspects. So what's an OTL? We've heard what's an OTL a lot, or what's a balanced, or all these different terminologies. What's a R2R DAC? There's a lot of these things that are buzzwords, but I think people should understand a bit more, because I do come from a technical background, and I think I can maybe shed some light in a simple and easy way of why this exists and what it does. I want to do a sort of, we talked to Kenix about this, but a sort of bi-weekly commentary just on the subreddit. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to look at all the, what I would deem important posts on our headphones, or, popular posts or trending posts, and comment on them with Kenix, and we could, have some fun there. I also can't promise that, I named this channel audio related, but I can't promise there'll be other stuff. I plan on maybe, I don't want to like go too. I don't want to get into too like heavy stuff like politics or just other unappetizing topics. But maybe I'll talk about, maybe do a music review. Maybe when a new album comes out, maybe I'll review old records and explain why they're great. That's a big thing, is music and recording for me. It's most people don't realize how bad their recordings are. So maybe we need to explain to people, like, we're talking about like, oh, this recording is bright. Okay, is it bright, or is it just like fucking like weird and compressed and like shit? Like, so I can't promise this isn't gonna be a headphone only review. This is gonna headphone only channel. This is gonna be a all encompassing audio channel with so maybe some of my DIY projects I'll put up for like posterity's sake, and maybe other hobbies that I take on in my life. But yeah, this channel is really just like kind of what I said before. I want to kind of chronicle my life, almost like what I'm doing right now. So there'll be some stuff that is not wouldn't be posted in our headphones necessarily, right? This is going to be a bit more than that. That's all I think I have for now. I want to before I leave off, I want to say that, like I said before, this is a community effort. If you guys, I don't plan on taking anyone's money in terms of a Patreon. At least right now, at this point, it might change. I'll see how freaking YouTube monetization works, but I bet that's chump change. But in terms of funding products for me to review, I'll operate off people's goodwill. If you want to send me something, send it to me. I'll listen and measure, and you send it to maybe Marv to measure, or we can always work stuff out. So please, this is a community effort, and any sort of topics. I think someone on the Discord, Danthrax, already created a subreddit for me. So if you have any content ideas or things you want discovered, or discussed or criticized or talked about, then post it on that subreddit. And I'll take into consideration. And as always, I'm always open to any ideas or criticism you have for me or my channel or what I'm doing. So let it fly. I am impossible to offend, more or less. So go ahead, and I'm totally open to criticism. That's about all I have. So yeah.